the scraping silence, a night I can never escape. When I was 17, there was a night that carved itself into the marrow of my memory. A night that clings to me like a shadow, always lurking. Close your eyes, and you can forget. But not me. Whenever I close mine, her face is there, burned into the dark behind my eyelids. Her face, the terror that gripped my bones, and that sound, those nails scraping the glass. Montana, my quiet little town. So uneventful it almost felt frozen in time. People didn't lock their doors. Nights were serene, a thick blanket of silence wrapping the streets. That is, until everything changed. The night started like any other. My parents, creatures of routine, had already gone to bed, leaving the house to settle into its familiar stillness. Crickets sang their gentle lullaby outside, and the wind murmured through the trees, a peaceful, almost hypnotic hum. Richie, our loyal golden retriever, lay curled at the foot of my bed. He was my shadow, never far, always there. His steady presence was a balm, a reminder that I was safe. Or so I thought. Something was wrong, though. A flicker of unease danced on the edge of my mind, like a predator circling, unseen. I couldn't shake it. I lay there, staring into the void above me, the ceiling suddenly feeling far too close. The air itself felt wrong. It wasn't just the quiet. It was the kind of silence that pressed down on you, a thick weight that suffocated everything around it. The house wasn't resting. It was holding its breath. Then, it started. At first, barely audible, a soft, rhythmic scrape. A sound so faint that I almost dismissed it, but it persisted, growing just enough to crawl under my skin. The sound was coming from my window, the nails dragging against the glass. I froze, my heart skipping a beat, the rational part of my brain whispering that I was imagining things. But Richie wasn't. He whimpered, a low, broken sound from beneath my bed. He never hid, not from anything. Thunderstorms? He'd sit and watch. Loud noises? No flinch. But now, trembling, he cowered under my bed. Something had terrified him, and that was when I realized this wasn't just in my head. It was real. The scraping grew louder, more insistent, and I could feel the blood draining from my face. My muscles locked, fear anchoring me in place. I turned my head, slowly, painfully, and that's when I saw her. She stood outside my window, hunched, skin hanging like wet paper over brittle bones. Her hair clung to her scalp in greasy clumps, framing a face that seemed drained of all life. But the eyes, there were no eyes. Just empty whites, rolled back. Yet somehow, I knew she could see me. She moved her lips in a silent incantation, the words rippling through the air as if they carried a weight beyond sound, beyond reason. They pressed against me, thick and suffocating, ancient and wrong. Her fingers, God, those fingers. Yellowed, jagged nails, too long, too sharp, scraping against the glass, marking the window in slow, deliberate strokes. Every drag of her claws seemed to echo in my skull, a chorus of dread that grew louder with every moment. The words from her mouth, though silent, felt venomous, seeping into the air, poisoning it. I knew without understanding that they weren't meant for me. They were meant to take something from me. I wanted to scream, run, but I couldn't. My body refused to move. I was a statue, held captive by her eyeless stare, pinned by the sheer, primal force of her presence. My heart pounded, a frantic drumbeat of terror, but my legs? Useless. I was trapped in my own skin, as the nails kept dragging, as her lips kept moving in that grotesque rhythm. Then, she moved closer. Her other hand pressed against the glass, her head tilting at a sickening angle, and her mouth curled into a smile that twisted my stomach. Her teeth were jagged, blackened stubs peeking out from her cracked, rotting lips. And in that moment, I felt it. A pull. Not physical, something deeper, pulling me toward her. My body started to move, not of my own will, as if invisible threads had wrapped around me, and she was the puppeteer. Step by step, I drifted toward the window. Closer. I was inches from the glass when Richie growled, a deep, desperate growl that snapped the spell. His teeth clamped onto my pajama pants, yanking me backward with all the strength he had. His growl sliced through the fog in my mind, and suddenly, I could move again. I fell, hitting the floor with a thud, gasping as if I'd been drowning. "Dad!" I screamed, the word barely escaping my throat, hoarse and raw. Within seconds, my dad burst through the door, flicking on the light. The old woman? Gone. Vanished as if she'd never been there. But the marks, her nail marks, remained. Scratches, faint but undeniable, etched into the glass like a signature. My dad rushed to the window, throwing it open, searching the yard. But there was nothing. No footprints. No sign that anyone had been there at all. But I knew she was real. The police came, searched, asked questions, but they found nothing. No one else had seen her. No one could explain the scratches. They told me it was a bad dream, but Richie knew. He stayed glued to my side after that night, ever watchful, like he knew she could come back. Sleep? That became a distant memory. Every night, I saw her face, heard her nails, felt the pull. I locked my window, slept with the lights on, but it didn't matter. She was always there, just out of reach, waiting for the moment when my guard would slip. And sometimes, even now, when the wind is quiet and the house still, I hear it, that faint scraping of nails against glass. And I wonder, is she still out there, waiting for me to let my guard down again, waiting for her chance? The seventh floor stair. The terrifying truth behind Daniel's disappearance. The police stumbled upon a recording in my friend Daniel's apartment after his mysterious disappearance. The timestamp on the audio file indicated it was captured on the very night he vanished. Here's the chilling transcript.
All right, where do I even begin? Tonight was supposed to be a celebration, my 30th birthday. Sam and Jake gave me this incredible telescope. I've been going on and on about wanting to stargaze, so I guess they thought it was a perfect gift. I didn't mention my insomnia to them, but perhaps they sensed it. I'm up half the night anyway, so why not stargaze? But, truth be told, it's not the stars that have captured my attention. It's around 2 in the morning. I'm wide awake, as usual. The streets are eerily quiet, just the sporadic hum of a distant car, and most of the windows in the apartment building across the street are dark. But then, there's this one window, 7th floor. It's illuminated. At first, it didn't seem significant. People stay up late sometimes, right? But something about it felt off. I don't know why I did it, but I grabbed the telescope and aimed it at that window. Maybe it was curiosity or sheer boredom, but now, I wish I hadn't. I'm staring at it right now, and I wish I hadn't. There's a man in there. He's sitting motionless in the center of the room. His back is turned to the window, surrounded by candles, hundreds of them. The room's bare, no furniture, nothing on the walls, just him and those candles. And 3 figures. They're encircling him, draped in long, black robes with red hoods obscuring their faces. I can't see their features. They're just standing there. I think they're chanting. I can't hear it, of course, but their heads move in unison, like a synchronized ritual. My heart's racing just watching this. It feels so wrong, so intensely wrong. I'm not sure if I should be watching this, but I can't tear myself away. It's like a car accident. You know you shouldn't look, but you're drawn to it. Wait, they're moving. The robed figures. They're advancing toward the man in the center. He hasn't moved, just sitting there, head hanging low. He looks like he's in a trance. Maybe he's unconscious. Oh God, they're removing their robes. Jesus Christ. Those aren't people. They're not human. I don't know what I'm looking at, but they're definitely not human. Their skin, if you can even call it that, is gray, stretched tight over their bones. Their faces, no eyes, just these gaping black voids. Their mouths are grotesquely wide, with needle-like teeth. They move so quickly. I can't even begin to process this. What are they? They're surrounding him now. They're touching him. Oh God, they're sinking their fingers into his flesh like it's nothing. He's bleeding. I see it. The candlelight flickers, highlighting the blood flowing down his body. He's still not moving. It's as if he's dead, but he can't be. Not yet. Oh fuck, they're eating him. They're tearing chunks of flesh from his body with their teeth. It's horrific. I see them chewing. There's blood everywhere. I can't stop watching. They're devouring him alive, and I'm paralyzed. One of them just looked directly at me. Oh God, it knows I'm watching. It's coming to the window. It's staring right at me. It doesn't have eyes, but I know it sees me. I know it sees me. I need to leave. I need to lock the doors. I don't know what they are, but they know I'm watching. They know.
The police never found Daniel. His apartment was empty when they arrived, save for the telescope still aimed at the window across the street. No trace of him, no signs of struggle, no blood. Just that chilling audio file left behind like a spectral clue. They investigated the apartment he had been watching. No candles, no robed figures, no man in the center of the room. But on the 7th floor window, faint yet visible to those who looked closely, were long, thin scratches, like claws, scratched into the glass from the inside. 2 weeks after Daniel's disappearance, his best friend, Sam, decided to investigate. Armed with his own telescope, Sam couldn't resist peering into that ominous window. For days, it remained dark, but then, one night, the candles reappeared. And so did the figures. They were waiting. This is your only warning. If you see the light in that 7th floor window, look away. Whatever's inside doesn't just observe you. It comes for you. ***.